Hey, YouTube theologians. Sunday drive home. Does it look like Luther is glowing in the back seat there? Radiating. Anyway, I do think the large catechism is glorious. How you guys doing? Strange days. Although, remember the church, I don't know if this is mystical or not, but you know how when we learn history, it's really like, it's like increasing your memory. Like I have memories of my own life. I mean, I mostly forget stuff, but like I've got, and if I never studied anything beyond myself, the only memory I would have would be just my own life. But as we study history, we have it's like gaining a memory. So as an American, I've got an American history. I've got an American memory. And as a Texan, you know, if you grow up in Texas, you have to take Texas history like 7 times. They're like, world history, whatever, Texas history. Davy Crockett, baby. So I've got a Texan memory. But as a Christian, now think about this. As we study the Bible, we're developing our Christian memory. And our memory goes back, I mean, it stretches long before we were alive. It stretches back before the United States. It stretches back before the invention of English. I mean, our Christian memory goes all the way back to the garden. So, and if you can see the Bible this way, and the history of the church this way, as your memory as a Christian, it's really helpful, because then we can say things like, we remember how to be in the midst of a plague. I mean, there's been plagues in the United States for sure, but the Christian church has survived plague after plague after plague, and we remember. We remember trusting in God during difficult times. We remember singing hymns as we held the dying and so forth. Although I guess they don't let you hold the dying anymore, but you get the point. We remember days like this. And I might personally not remember, but as a Christian, I remember days like this, and I know that they come to an end and that the Lord is good. So we need to exercise our Christian memory, which goes back all the way to the empty tomb. Now that's especially that because we have this Sunday after Easter. I never know what to call this. The second Sunday in Easter, the first Sunday after Easter, Easter 1, Easter 2, I don't know. It's Sunday of doubting. It's a Sunday that Jesus comes to Thomas, who has this unfortunate name of Doubting Thomas, because he's been saying for a week now, unless I see the hole in his hands, I'm not going to believe. But, and again, this is a little bit of speculation, but if you go back to that first Easter, and you think of how things were unfolding, we want to remember a couple of things. Number one, that the first appearance of Jesus after the resurrection is to Mary Magdalene at the tomb. And then Jesus appears to the women, probably as they're going back through Jerusalem to Bethany to find the other disciples. And then at some point, he appears to Peter by himself. So that must have been, Peter must have gone out. So that every time, so Jesus has appeared 3 times already, every time to just small groups, every time as they left. So then fast forward to the evening, and all the disciples are there, locked in the upper room or wherever they were in Jerusalem, behind the locked door for fear of the Jews. In other words, they were afraid that if they got caught, the Sanhedrin would do to them what they did to Jesus. Crucify him. Arrest them, whip them, etc. They're afraid. With one exception. Thomas. Thomas isn't there. Now we don't know where he went. To the grocery store or to some other essential business, I'm sure. But we know, and again, this is me, I don't think it's too far of a stretch, but it's pushing the text a little bit, so just understand. But it's if the 10 are there because they're afraid, then Thomas is the one who's not afraid. Now we know this about Thomas. When Lazarus died and Jesus says, let's go and visit Lazarus so that the glory of God can be manifest, and all the other disciples said, wait a minute, last time you were there they wanted to kill you, and do you want us to go back? And Thomas says, remember, Thomas says, let's go. If we die, we die. Now that is bold. And I think that same boldness is underneath the text here in John chapter 20 on Easter, when all the 10 are there because they're afraid and Thomas is not. Thomas the bold is out looking for Jesus because Jesus is out there. In fact, I don't wonder if Thomas said, Peter, you saw him? Mary, you saw him at the tomb? You women saw him in the city? Let's go find him. He's out there. He's not in here. The door's locked. Let's go find Jesus. But they'll arrest us. But they'll kill us. What if we're caught? If we die, we die. That's Thomas the bold. Now again, it's pushing the text a little bit, so understand. But if this is the case, if Thomas is out looking for Jesus, not afraid to die, not afraid to be arrested, not afraid to have his beard pulled out, not afraid to be lacerated and whipped, mocked and crucified, if he's not afraid of that, he's looking for Jesus, and that's what matters. Imagine Thomas looking everywhere for Jesus and then coming back and they all kind of jump him as he comes to the room and said, Jesus was just here. Wow. Wow. Just for a minute, imagine being Thomas. What are you saying Jesus was just here? I've been out looking for him. Look at you guys are sitting around afraid to die, afraid to look for him. Then he comes and finds you when I'm the one out there? No. And he couldn't wait 5 minutes for me to get back? Where did he go? No, I don't believe it. I got to put my hands in his hands. I got to put my hands in his side. I don't believe it. I have this picture in my mind of them sitting for, trying to convince him. Thomas won't be convinced. In fact, I think it's the hardness of Thomas that is the reason why they're still in Jerusalem a week later, because remember the angels and Jesus said to get to Galilee. We need some space. Go to Galilee. I've got more things to teach you. Let's go to Galilee so we don't have to worry about being arrested. We can eat some fish. I can tell you the things I need to tell you. But they're not. They're still there. A week later, Thomas, I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. And then Jesus. Because he loves Thomas. Because he loves you. He comes and he shows him his hands and his side. Don't doubt, believe in Thomas. Just is waiting, my Lord and my God. The text, the picture of Jesus putting his finger in his side is Thomas putting this finger in Jesus' side, but the text doesn't say he put his finger in there, although that's the idea, but he didn't. He just immediately, my Lord and my God, he believes. Confesses beautifully. It's one of the clearest confessions of the divinity of Jesus in the whole of the scriptures. My Lord and my God. Probably Thomas right after that says, what are you guys waiting for? Let's go to Galilee. Come on. Thomas, we've been trying to tell you. See? You got to think that here's Jesus showing, and all the other disciples are standing on the other side saying, we told you, why didn't you listen to us? And that's the point. The apostolic witness to the resurrection of Jesus is reliable. Jesus really is really, truly risen from the dead. You're Jesus, risen from the dead. With the scars and everything. And one day, if you and I can muster up the boldness of Thomas, one day we'll put our hands in his side too. My Lord and my God. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Hallelujah. That Sunday drive home. You guys are still hanging around. You know what I think you would really like is the Worldwide Bible Class, which is on Tuesday mornings if you're in Texas, 10 o'clock. But anyway, if you go to wolfmueller.co/Bible, you can join us. We're talking about faith, hope, and love, and it is cool. I mean, people from all over the world jumping into Bible class. Oh, it's so much fun. So anyway, you can see the videos too, but it's better to be there live if you can do it. Hope to see you then.